Every year, millions of people watch this concert. It's a tradition, a love letter to Europe's grand classical music heritage. But what if I told you that the music of Switzerland, just over the Alps, sounds nothing like this? Switzerland has classical music too. You probably just never heard of it. Switzerland has long been a retreat for the world's greatest composers. Wagner composed Tristan und Isolde at a lakeside villa here. Stravinsky wrote The Rite of Spring while staying in Clarence. Liszt, Mahler, Strauss, Rossini, all borrowed from Swiss culture. And all of them came here. But here's the catch. None of them were Swiss. To understand this, we need to trace it back to the history of Germany, Switzerland, and beyond. Germany developed its music within strict church and court traditions. This gave a rise to towering figures like Bach, Beethoven, and Wagner, composers obsessed with form, counterpoint, and harmonic complexity. Bach was actually hired by the church to write church music. Let's take a listen to Bach's Violin Sonata in G minor, number 2, Fuga. A single violin starts layered, intricate. It's playing a 4-voice fugue, even though it's just one instrument. Double stops creates harmony. Imitations build tension, and harmonic implications fill in the missing voices. The theme moves through stretto, inversion, and sequencing, creating a dense polyphonic dialogue. This is music designed with precision, architecture, and purpose. Now, contrast that with France. French music was shaped by royal chords. It had to sound elegant, refined, and sophisticated. Composers like Lully, Debussy, and Ravel weren't trying to construct monumental fugues. They wanted color, impression, and atmosphere. Now, let's take a listen to Debussy's Clair de Lune. Take Debussy's Clair de Lune. No rigid structure, no strict counterpoints, just floating harmonies, shimmering textures, and fluidity. French music is about invoking an experience rather than following strict form. Again, this is not Swiss music. Then there's Italy. Italy gave the world opera, and Italian composers like Verdi, Puccini, Rossini perfected the art of emotional storytelling through melody. Their music was built for passion, drama, and voice. Now take a listen to the world-famous La Traviata. The melody soars, effortless and expressive. It's about human emotions first, structure second. And once again, this is not Switzerland. Then what about Poland? Poland may not have had the same centralized culture influence as Germany or France, but its music was fiery, expressive, and deeply tied to national identity. Take Henryk Wieniawski, one of the greatest violinists and composers of the Romantic era, and one of my favorite composers. Let's take a listen to Violin Concerto No. 2 in D minor. It's bold, passionate, full of technical fireworks and Slavic soul. Wieniawski's music combined dazzling virtuosity with aching lyrical beauty, a style that was uniquely Polish. Again, a stark contrast to Switzerland's quiet, introspective sound. But what about Russia? While it lacked the long-standing classical traditions of Western Europe, its music was sweeping, deeply emotional, and infused with a sense of national drama. Take Tchaikovsky, one of the most beloved composers of the Romantic era. Let's take a listen to Violin Concerto in D major. It's lush, fiery, overflowing with soaring melodies and heart-wrenching passion. Tchaikovsky's music blended Western symphonic grandeur with Russian folk elements, creating a sound that was both intensely personal and unmistakably Russian. Well, once again, it's not Swiss. So what does Swiss music actually sound like? Let's start with Raff's Symphony No. 5, L'Ennui. The sound is different, pastoral, folk-like. The melody feels more organic, almost improvised. Instead of intricate counterpoints, we hear an open harmonies and pentatonic scales, the kinds of melodies that might be played by an alphorn in the mountains. Swiss music has always been shaped by its landscape, towering peaks, deep valleys, and quiet alpine villages. This geography fostered a tradition of music that is modest, intimate, and deeply connected to nature. Unlike the grand city-driven musical developments of Germany, France, or Italy, Swiss music remained rooted in rural traditions, local instruments, and communal singing. Few instruments are closely tied to a country's identity as the alphorn is to Switzerland. Originally a tool for shepherds to communicate across vast alpine distances, the alphorn developed into a musical symbol of Swiss heritage. The sound is rich, warm, and resonant, with deep, open intervals that mirrors the echoes of the mountain. The alphorn's melodies are simple yet powerful, emphasizing the natural harmonics of the instrument. Unlike the violin or piano, which allows for rapid, intricate movement, the alphorn is about long, sustained notes, about breath, space, and the way that sound travels through the open air. Composers have incorporated the alphorn into classical works, from Leopold Mozart, the father of organ Mozart, to modern Swiss composers like Paul Huber. Even Mahler referenced the alphorn's call in his symphonies, using its haunting timbre to invoke nature's grandeur. While the bagpipe is often associated with Scotland, Switzerland has its own bagpipe traditions dating back to the medieval period. The Swiss bagpipe, or the Schweizer Streichpfeife, was once a common folk instrument played by traveling minstrels and village musicians. Let's listen to a Swiss bagpipe tune. Compared to its Scottish cousins, the Swiss bagpipe has a softer, reedier sound, with drone notes that create hypnotic, meditative atmosphere. It was played at festivals, dances, and even in military settings, though its use declined by the 19th century. Today, musicians and historians are working to revive this nearly forgotten part of Swiss musical history. Then, of course, there's yodeling, one of Switzerland's most famous musical traditions. Listen to a traditional Swiss yodel. Unlike structured melodies in the Western classical music, yodeling is about fluidity, shifting between chest and head voice, creating an almost instrumental quality in a human voice, originally used by herders to communicate across mountains. Yodeling evolved into a form of folk sing that's expressive, playful, and uniquely Swiss. It is different from Austrian yodeling, with its melodic purity and rhythmic complexity. In Switzerland, yodel choirs preserve these traditions, blending individual voices into rich harmonic layers that feel both earthy and ethereal. Unlike German music, Swiss music does not build towering structure. Unlike French music, it doesn't shimmer with elegance. Unlike Italian music, it is about a grand emotional storytelling. Unlike Polish music, it is about fiery virtuosity or national pride. Unlike Russian music, it doesn't explode with theoretical drama. Swiss music is about the place, about nature, about small stories told in simple and beautiful ways. Whether in the noble sound of the alphorn, the forgotten hum of the bagpipe, the soaring purity of the yodeling, or the lyrical clarity of Raff's symphony. Swiss music captures the voice of the mountain and valley, resonating, echoing, and calling across time.